welcome back to a New Pace podcast. I'm Lesley, your host, and today we have a guest on the show, Martin Price, and he is an entrepreneur in the online space, helping people to grow their businesses in an authentic way. And lots of strategy, as well as I've really witnessed and learned a lot from him about mindset too. So I'm really pleased to have you on the show, Martin, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. And I'm excited for what this is going to give us.
So yeah, it's a long time since we met. It was like at an event somewhere like a while ago, and it doesn't feel like that because we've been both in the online space. So which is what it can look like, can't it, sometimes? So could you like explain to everyone what it is that you do and how you help people?
Yeah, will do. I think it was back in, I want to say 2021, something like that. Jess and James's speaker school, something like that,
Mm,
maybe, but don't know.
maybe.
Okay, so yeah, who am I? Right, Martin Price. I live in Cheltenham. I'm a single dad, and I've got four businesses. And yeah, you're probably thinking, where does he have time to do all of that? I think the downside to me is I'm a solopreneur. I do have contractors that work for me and I do have other people that work for me, but I'm a perfectionist and so I try and think, oh, I can do that better. So anyway, so I've got four businesses. The first one is consultancy, which I've done for the last 15 years. I go into big corporations and help them with transformation programs and change. And I love that. It's like a posh job, really. It's a glorified job because I get paid by the hour. So it's great money, but ultimately I'm just exchanging time for money. So that's the first one. I've got two property businesses. I've got a number of properties that I own and rent out. And then the second property business is commercial property services like gardening, window cleaning, that kind of thing, communal cleaning. So, yeah, I think those are the three breadwinning businesses. And then the fourth one is something that I've started and I'd like to build this the most because it's the one that fills my heart the most. And it's I don't want to call myself a coach because everybody's a coach, aren't they? So I've used my buddy Ethan, who is my chat GPT. Don't tell anyone.
Ethan. Oh, Ethan and Alex.
Exactly. We've got to name them, haven't we? And then
Yeah,
teach them our personalities so that they
yeah.
can answer better. So, Ethan and I have been working on what I am rather than a coach. And I've got my elevator pitch, they call it, don't they? And I am a connection architect. So, empowering others to connect and resonate with their own prospects and audiences. And actually, it doesn't have to be just for business owners. It could be for people in their careers, in their family lives, in their home lives, professional and personal lives, how to resonate better, how to connect better, how to bond better, and everything to do with relationships and connection and communication is everything, isn't it? It's one of those skills that we absolutely have to master. So that's where my heart is now. And so I'm not a coach, I'm a connection architect. How
Yeah.
does that sound? Cheesy?
No, I love it. Like cheesy or not, I've called myself a creativity Sherpa before. And
Nice,
then I thought, and then I
nice.
found somebody else had used it, so it was kind of, oh no, can't do that. And it doesn't quite align with me. But what I'm hearing from you just within that is, talking about those businesses where that feel like you kind of you're doing them almost by just default, that is you're so used to doing it that it's just happening, and then this that feels more like your passion project, more like what it is that really lights you up. And I could see that you're talking differently about it, and that idea of being a connection architect, building connections, helping people to connect, resonates so well with me as an art therapist and working with people in terms of like mental health and trauma and attachment, because we're hardwired for connection, aren't we? and
Absolutely.
and it's like connection with the world, ourselves, and with others. So how
Yeah.
did you get to that point of going, it's about connection? Did it just suddenly come, or is it more of a gradual thing?
I guess As a child, I was really tempestuous and like, frustrated and couldn't articulate myself very well. And my
Yeah.
mum used to say, calm down, breathe, count to 10. And that's not what you want to hear when you're like a 10 or 12-year-old and frustrated. But I think I wasn't, I'm not saying I'm a connection master now, or a communications expert now, but I'm a lot more emotionally intelligent now than I ever have been. And I think that really makes you be able to connect and communicate a lot better with other folks. So I think given that I've done property for more than 25 years, and the natural progression was the property maintenance business as well. That's all easy stuff. But the consultancy again is all about how you connect with the people that you're consulting. So it's groups of people rather than one to one in my consultancy. So I go into these organizations and chair meetings and have groups of people where it's like, right, okay, what are we trying to do here? And there's a I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, but it is relevant to connecting with people. There's a framework called ADCAR, which is the company is called ProSci. It's an American company and it's a methodology for business change in organizations. So if you think about it, Apple wants to roll out their new iPhone. Everybody in that organization needs to know what that means to them and how they contribute to it. So with this business change methodology called ADCAR, it's all about awareness, desire, knowledge, ADKA, ability, and then reinforcement. So the 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 first A is the awareness. Do people actually have an awareness of the change? So thinking about people that we interact with, are they aware of what we're saying to them? Because a communication is a transmission and a receipt. And what we
Yeah.
think we're transmitting isn't always received the same, is it? And likewise, what you think you're saying to me, I'm like, did Lesley really mean that? That sounded a bit frosty. That sounded a bit like cold. And, we get this all the time in text messages. So it's not just verbal face to face, it's in text messages, in emails, and all the rest of it, isn't it? So that kind of methodology made me realize this is all about bringing people together and connecting those people together so that they all know what their part is in that transformation of that organization. So for me, I think the natural progression was, right, I can do business, I can make money in business, I can sell, obviously, but business feels a bit self-centered and it feels a bit like transactional, doesn't it? And I wanted it to be a lot more than just a transaction. I wanted it to be a customer for life, a client for life, rather than, okay, I sell them a £1,000 package, they do 3 months with me, 6 months with me, or whatever, and then they're gone. So that's for me a lot more important. And I get from your content online as well. That's what's important for you as well. Therapy is all about giving, isn't it, and caring. So that's a sense I get from you as well, Lesley.
Yeah. Oh no, thanks. It's good to hear that. And what you said there makes me think about how like sometimes people use certain methods to make the sale, to sell to somebody, to then get them into their world, and then actually like what happens behind the scenes is quite different to how they might be. Whereas what you how you see me online is the same, like you have the sessions would be the same like that, and I'd imagine that's the same for you, that you're
Yeah,
building that connection with somebody, not just to sort of so that they're aware of who you are so that they can choose to work with you, but it's also that when they're working with you, then you can help them to the best of sort of your
yeah, yeah,
ability because you know them. Much like the consultancy, sounds like you're getting to know the values of the business and the ethos and where the sticking points are, and if there's members of the business that don't and the company that don't know what's going on, then the dynamics will be affected. So it's the
absolutely,
same.
absolutely. Have you heard of WYSIWYG?
I can't think what it is.
When you said, this is me, I don't change for anything, what you see is what you get.
Oh yes,
That made me think of that as soon as you said that. And back to the point of you saying about certain marketers as well. Seth Godin, I don't know if you know Seth Godin, but an amazing marketer. And he said, marketing is earning the right to speak to your audience, not interrupting them. And that's
Oh,
exactly how people should market. It's earning the right. So we put content out there. I'd like to think that my content gives somebody something that they think, I like Martin. I like following Martin. So I like his content. I'm going to keep following him. And then over time, in theory, I don't need to interrupt them. So I've earned their permission to market to them. And then when the time is right, there might be a transaction, there might be a sale, there might not be. And that's absolutely fine because you want these people as advocates as well. It's not just about selling to people. They could then say to their friend, I don't need his help. I don't need, to communicate better. I'm a master communicator already. Maybe. But they might say, do you know what, though? My son or my sister is absolutely horrendous. Sister, Sarah, you need this guy. You communicate terribly. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's all about earning the right to speak to your audience, I think.
yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? And it's like what you're saying there makes me think about, like that idea of know, like, and trust. So you're building up that awareness of you being there and that trust in you, that trust that, like, for me, there's trust and that sort of consistency of showing up. And to
Yeah.
me, that's not about how often you're there, but it's more about like you showing up and being you rather than suddenly, I don't know, it's like I saw a video that I'd posted about 5 years ago. It was my first ever YouTube video, and I was talking about being an artist and being an art therapist, and it's both. And I find myself going, I partly thought, oh, I'm still grappling with that same dilemma. Now, am I an artist? I'm an art therapist. Where do you lean into? And and part of me sort of went, oh, maybe I've not made progress. Oh, question about that. But then another part of me thought, that's consistency because they're the kind of human things that we do grapple with, like
Mhm.
work and home and all of those sorts of things.
Do you think you can't be an artist and an art therapist then? Is that what you're saying?
I can't. No, I can. They do. I think the thing is, they integrate. So I've had a lot of advice over the years to focus on one thing, focus on that. Like focus on this or focus on that. And I'm a better artist by being an art therapist, and I'm a better art therapist because I'm an artist.
Yeah, I agree.
And they, they couldn't work separately. Like they couldn't work. But in terms of marketing, and I suppose there's maybe a different way of talking about things, and there's a different approach. So you could sort of go, this piece of art, we could talk about a piece of art in terms of the making of it, or you could talk about it, but about it if you want it on your wall, then you could do.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think they go hand in hand. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So I was just like really mindful of all of these things, and like you were saying about sort of communication and connection, and within that space and within growing these businesses and that, have there been any particular challenges that you've sort of faced where you've thought, actually, maybe I won't go that direction, I maybe need to pivot somewhere else? And
God, yeah.
I mean,
All of them.
I
All of
suppose
them,
it's
I think.
maybe like not necessarily naming all the challenges because we all go through these sorts of things, but do you have any sort of go-to strategies that when you are facing a challenge in business, or when you are like, whether it's maybe your personal professional life, kind of that blur, like, do you have any particular things that you use, tools that you use yourself?
I think, you know what? The problem for me is I'm a workaholic. It's a blessing and a curse, really, because I enjoy the consultancy. I've lost a bit of the love for properties, although I still like doing property development and stuff. So I guess the blessing is that I love work. The curse is that I love work and I don't switch off. So I've come to Spain. I've got a house here. That's not a brag, by the way. I'm very humble with what I've got, but I come here and I'm trying to make this into a rental house as well. So I've applied for a license, but I'm just pottering about and doing stuff. So I love it. So challenges, yeah, like you say, we've all had them. And I think for me, I actually used to work in the Foreign Office. I was a civil servant for 20 years, but my ex and I split, and I was forced to resign and leave the civil service, which was a massive undertaking for me. And then, luckily for me, I walked straight into a very lucrative contract for 12 months. So I was like, oh my God. And I haven't looked back since. And I think that was a really stressful time of life. Outside of that, I think, yeah, well, the most recent challenge in the property business, one of the I'm being very careful with the words here because I don't want a litigation. I don't want to be sued,
No.
but um, I am 15 grand out of pocket from one of the people or companies that I do business for. Yeah, so 4 months of no invoices being paid. I've had to pay out to all the contractors that work for me. So yeah, technically I'm 14, is it 14? I think it's about 14 and a half grand out of pocket. So this is a challenge for anybody that's in business is cash flow. That's what kills majority of businesses because if they are not getting the income and the outgoings, you need to work out how many months you can go for basically without any revenue. And then that's a sign of a good business. So there are a couple of examples of challenges in business, and I'm under no illusions that challenges are always going to be there. Now, like I've just mentioned before, I think I'm way more emotionally intelligent than ever. And so I've got coping strategies, I've got coping mechanisms. Do I get stressed? Yeah, I think I'm just losing a cold
I
sore
always call
now.
it cold slaw.
Exactly. I'm just losing a cold sore now, and I'm thinking, was I stressed? Have I been stressed recently? It didn't feel like it just because I think I switch off really well and I cope really well. I exercise a lot, so that helps as well, doesn't it? So I think, yeah, we've all got our own different ways of coping with things, and I do quite well with stress, to be honest. And it's all relative for different people, isn't it? Stress. How about you? How do you cope
Yeah,
with
so
stress?
I think it's so easy, isn't it, to then like I know as a therapist, there's so many things that you kind of don't pour from an you can't pour from an empty cup and say those sorts of things, and it's so easy just to keep going and then not ask for help. But I think for me, it is just about getting back into the routine of doing things, going and
Yeah,
doing those walks, going do.
yeah.
And sometimes I have to like literally go right. I'm doing a walk every single day, and I'm gonna go on my stories and just do it. And it's something like really tiny, or do these kind of like just really tracking. I have sort of color code things and tracking
Mm,
water and
nice.
like the
Have you
thing that
read the? Sorry.
I know. I was going to say, like, sleep's a thing I'm wanting to focus on really at the moment because that's something that I've been struggling with recently. And I
Yeah, it's
think
so
it's just
important.
so important. It makes so much
Mm,
difference.
yeah, it does. I was just going to say, have you read the book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod?
No, tell me about it.
That is an amazing book. So a friend of mine loaned it to me, and I think I've still got it. Saying that, he borrowed 6 of my books, and I think he's still got them. So he got the better deal there. And I don't actually know what he's borrowed off me. So this is like 4 years ago. Um,
Yeah.
the Miracle Morning is there's an acronym, SAVERS, and I hoping I can remember them all now because it's been a few years since I read the book. But the S is for scribing. So the Miracle Morning is about taking a few minutes out each morning before. This is how you set up your perfect day with the Miracle Morning. S is for scribing. So note down what you've got to do for the whole day. The A is for, what is the A for? Oh my God, that's terrible. Anyway, I'll come back to the A. V is affirmations, affirmations,
Affirmations.
affirmations, and then the V is visualizations. That's why I remembered the affirmations because of the V visualizations. So affirm things that you want to happen in your life, positive mental attitude, all of that kind of stuff, then visualize it. The E is for exercise, as you were just saying, go on your walks, go out there into nature, whatever. So exercise, do something. The RASAVER is for reading. So just pick up a book and read for 5 minutes and then put the book down. And then the S at the end is for, I said scribing at the start, didn't I? I did. I said writing at the start, didn't I? So there's another S, and I can't remember what it is. That's gutted. But anyway, read the book. There's a
Yeah,
good
I'll have a
pitch
read the
to
book.
read the book.
And
So yeah,
that makes me think of these things where I think this is something you've talked about as like something that frustrates you sometimes when there's right, we've got all these points, there's one more, but you have to buy my thing to find out what that last
yeah,
bit
yeah,
is.
exactly. Great marketing. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm not getting the commission if people buy the book, but yeah, it's and what he does is he says through the book, start with just like 1 or 2 minutes of each of those activities. So the 6 activities, just start with 2 or 3 minutes on each of them, and then build up if you don't have the time, so that your day then is done in an hour. If you can build up to an hour or an hour and a half first thing in the morning, you've done all the really important things that sets the rest of the day up perfectly.
yeah. That does sound really good to be able to sort of just do a few minutes because you hear all these people that right, I'm up at 5 a.m. and that's not me. I'm more like
Are
the
you not a morning
4:30.
person?
Not really. I think it's like I do quite like being up and out before everybody. When I've had a routine of going out for a walk, I've liked that. I think 5 8 5 maybe a bit extreme, but there was this idea of say like having a really long morning routine where you've got loads and loads of stuff, like you're reading for a long time and you're equipping yourself, and maybe 2 hours has passed before then you start your work or before you set
Yeah,
off. You've got the gym there and everything. That can be really like suit so many people. But then for others, just like half an hour to do like or 10 minutes even to kind of we just moved and we've done 2 minutes on a mini trampoline or something.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's
you just got to make it work for your own routine, and it actually might mean that you do the exercise in the evening because you can't do it first thing in the morning. Um, I am a morning person, so come 9 o'clock at night, I'm good for nothing. So first thing in the morning, I wake in between 4 and 5, but I'll try and get back into bed. I'll need a pee typically. I'll get back into bed and lie there and think, right, okay, so I can either do some meditation or whatever. Sometimes I drop back off to sleep, but even at the weekends, a line for me is 6 o'clock. So I'm up and at it, and I'm really productive in the mornings. But like I've just said, come 9 o'clock, I'm done, useless,
yeah. Yeah. And have you
no
tried it
good.
have you tried it the other way round? Has it been like because I'm just thinking about how people all have those preferences, don't they? That actually like have you always been a morning person? It's just been natural. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. And it stems back from when I was doing paper rounds. I used to go to, here's a story. I used to go to the shop. The guy used to open the shop at 6 a.m. I'd be there at 5 to 6 waiting for him to open the doors so I could help him put the newspapers in the various bags. And then I'd go out and do 2 rounds in the morning. After school, I didn't have time to help him set the papers up in the evenings, but then I'd go and do 2 rounds in the evening. So as a 13, 14-year-old, I was earning £25 a week, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah. That's so like really entrepreneurial back then as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think you're either born with it or it develops over time. There's no right or wrong. And I'm trying to coach my 2 boys. I've got a 17 and an 18-year-old. They're nearly 18 and 19 now, but I've given them a chance and told them that education isn't everything. If you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, you do need to go to university. If that's not what you want to do, then don't do it. So my eldest, he's finished his A levels and he's going off for a year in France with his grandma, my ex-mother-in-law. So I've said, absolutely fine, go and do it while you've got no ties or anything, but at the same time, you're going to have to work. and I'll support you financially as long as you're contributing yourself and working yourself. But what I've also said to him is I bought him a book on e-commerce, and I've said I will support you if you want to start a venture in e-commerce, either on Amazon or Shopify or whatever. So because I've run businesses for so long, he's done business for one of his A levels. They both are actually, but he's learnt the principles. And again, education is just about a curriculum, and it's so outdated, and
Yeah.
a lot of degrees are outdated as well now. So I've offered to go into the school and do a session for the school leavers on communication skills, and the deputy head has said, "Oh my God, yes, please." Because if you think about it, a 16, 17-year old, I don't know if you've got nieces, nephews, or friends that have got 16, 17-year-olds, they're like, yeah, what? And I'm like, shake some life into them. Hi, really nice to meet you, and like have some gumption about you, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going off on
Yeah.
all kinds of rabbit holes and tangents here.
I think these are important, aren't they? Because actually, who you connect with, like what you were saying about the connections with your family, are so important. If you're like practicing what you preach, you're kind of communicating with other people, talking to your boys about like maybe what's important to them. And yeah, it's so true, isn't it? And I have a 14-year-old nephew, and then I've got a 26-year-old nephew, and they're varying levels of that. But there's times when I feel like that, when I'm just a bit like sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Our energy's down as well a lot of the time. And back to the point about families. Oh my God, families are hard work, aren't they? Brothers,
Absolutely.
sisters. I haven't got either parent now, but they were hard work as well. But yeah, brothers, sisters.
So are you like, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I've got one older brother and one older sister, so I'm the baby technically. But yeah.
I'm baby as well.
How are you?
Yeah.
Are you the personality you are because you had to show off to be like, look at me, listen to me? That's what everybody says to me. Like, oh God, you were always like the showman and had to be seen.
I mean, that's a really good question, good insight, because like I remember being just really really quiet as a kid, and
Oh,
there's a poem that I have read out at a few events that I wrote when I was about 5, and I remember being really really shy reading this poem out, or not even reading it out loud at school.
wow.
But then I read this out as an adult, and it felt a bit like the shyness in me was there. But then I think with people that I felt comfortable with, I'd always be a bit quirky and always be a bit kind of a bit like the daft one. Like in my A
Mm.
levels, I dressed up as a clown for comic relief sort of thing. So,
Brilliant.
and I remember my teacher. I've got a picture of my teacher, the sixth form tutor, putting the red nose on, and he was wearing a suit, and it was kind of
Brilliant.
I was in this clown thing. So yeah,
Brilliant.
I think back to like this idea of being the youngest and needing to sort of fight for attention. I think there's some truth in that, because I think I still do it in some ways. Be there to entertain people, and be there to be the one that sort of like provides some comfort and reassurance.
Mm. Mm.
So
I
yeah,
mean, there's probably no right or wrong, or there's no set pattern, but it just feels for me, maybe I was always just outgoing and wanted attention and sought attention. And I got a lot of attention from my mum at home. Dad wasn't very, very hands on. Whereas me now, I'm the complete opposite because I'm a single dad as well. I've made it my life's mission to have the best possible relationship with my boys and be as close to them as possible. And they can ask me anything and I'll be open with them on anything and support them as much as possible. My dad used to come to the odd football match when I was playing, but not there as I would have wanted maybe. So perhaps that's another thing that I wasn't getting the attention and didn't feel loved. I don't know. We're going deep on this, aren't we? Oh
I
my
don't
God,
know.
we're into the psychology now. Oh my God.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, the psychology is going to be there whether you talk about it or not.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's going to be there, and it's going to be like what's been on my mind a lot with sort of growing my own business and the tools that I'm using to provide the services compared to the tools that and who I am when I'm sort of promoting my services, is that it feels like there's a weirdness about it. I
Mm.
find that I'm more me. It feels very different. I feel like I can connect better with people once I'm working with them. Whereas
Oh,
when I'm
nice.
online going, hey, come and work with me, it can feel a little bit awkward. And I think that's
Mm.
where, so what's been on my mind a lot with that is how our attachment styles affect us in
Mm.
terms of our connections to other people, but also in terms of business and sales and marketing, and how, like, I mean, there's so many psychological questionnaires and things that you can fill in,
Yeah, profiles. Yeah.
profiling, and so many different things. And ultimately, like, for me, that they serve to help us to understand ourselves better, and they can create a new label that you can ditch or you can kind of make use of. But then, yeah, it's just seeing like what is useful.
Yeah, yeah,
Are
exactly.
you,
And what's useful for you?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Are your
Mm.
boys similar to you in character then, personality?
This, I'm hoping my ex never sees this podcast, but you never know if it goes viral. So
Yeah.
they, there's a good mix of both of us, but I'm the jester, and they've followed that quite a lot, which is great because my ex hasn't got quite the same level of banter and fun as me. That's probably totally off the mark because she's probably really fun in certain scenarios. But an example, my my youngest used to be upstairs and she'd shout up, "Dinner's ready!" like that, and he'd shout back, and she's like, "I don't sound like that. Don't say that," and she'd get really arsy about it. Whereas me, I joke with them and I laugh with them, and we front up to each other like, "What do you want, blood? What's the matter with you?" And get in each other's face. Love banter, love fun, and so they have got that side of me. They're very different characters themselves.
Mm.
There's more of a selfishness with one of them. I won't say which way around than the other. The other is absolutely the most compassionate, empathetic boy you could for his age that you could ever wish for. And everybody's always saying, "Oh my God, care, he's caring and lovable." Whereas the other one, he's not. I don't think he's intentionally selfish. It's probably an age thing. When you're 15 to, well, 15 to 25 for me, probably, I was a right twat. So excuse my French. You can edit that out if needed. But some might say, yeah, some might say I still am. But yeah, I think they've got bits of both personalities.
Yeah. That no, that's I think these sorts of things like are good to reflect on, aren't they? And to think like, well, and I think about that sometimes because I don't have children, and I sort of sometimes wonder, like, what would my children be like, and what like how might their characters be, and things like that. And just
Yeah.
think about my siblings and think about like just yeah, just different like friends and who's similar to us and who's different to us, and
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's we can influence so many people. It doesn't have to be your own children, but we influence. You're a therapist, so you influence people, and they might come out with a quote that you come out with, or they might behave in a certain way that you've behaved because you're giving them therapy. Likewise, all of those human interactions that we have, I've got friends now that we have the same sense of humor, so we just bounce off each other. And so they're influencing me, I'm influencing them. So it's
yeah,
not just about your own children, it's about
no,
every human interaction, isn't it? How they, like we were just saying, how do they receive the message that we're sending, and how do we receive the message that they're sending? And I'm fascinated by it. Said about psychology, I love that. I love neuroscience, and I love the human psyche. Love it. Human behavior. We're
yeah.
odd fish, aren't we, sometimes?
But oh no, I love it as well. And I find like say in environments where I'm like sort of almost like around people that love that, that's when I can really grow. And like in environments where like maybe maybe people aren't interested in those things. Like I've got some family members that maybe not so, maybe don't really get what I'm doing, and then they might
Yeah.
understand it a little bit but not really get it. And if I was wanting to really reflect and get philosophical
Mm,
with them, then it might be hard to have that conversation, and you can feel maybe misunderstood in
mm.
those spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas, yeah,
I was going to ask a question. Have you got different friends groups as well, where you've got these friends that are all about the fun and the banter and quite shallow conversations, and you've got these ones that are the deeper meaningfuls, and you'll go into the psychology, the neuroscience, and
mm,
human behavior and that. Have you got those different friends groups?
yeah. I mean, to be fair, at the moment it feels like I don't really have a massive like friendship circle, and I think that's just because my friends are just all over the place, like
Yeah,
up and down the country.
yeah.
And but that pattern has been, I've had that patterns probably all my life. Like I've maybe been part of lots of friendship circles. So when I was doing lots of running, like there'd be the triathlon people, and then there'd be the obstacle race people, and then there'd be the therapist. Let's talk about society and reflect on how we were given our names and
Mm.
things like that. Um, and then we've got the sort of the family people who are maybe playing charades or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there is something with that, and I think it can be so easy to maybe to try and second guess which group they are, or maybe bring in a thing. And yeah, it makes me think about sort of our sub selves and like different parts of us that show up at different times. And some people might be, feel the need to mask in different environments, of course, like that happens. And then, like, my sense of that is that we've just got different parts of our personalities and parts of our character and interests that surface when we need them to surface.
Mm.
And
Have you? I put a post out a couple of weeks ago, and I've realised that I'm an ambivert now. So yes, I can be an extrovert. Yes, I can be an introvert, and it just depends. It could be my
yeah,
mood. It could be that I've gone to a party where I don't really know anybody, and I'm just like happy to sit in the corner, watch the world go by, watch them all, and humans doing silly things with alcohol. But yeah, and then other times I can be on the tables, life and soul of the party. So I'm happy to flex, who I am based on my moods and the situation. Do you feel the same? Similar?
I think I'm an ambivert. Yeah. Before that term came out, I'd say I'm, yeah, um, introverted extrovert, and then they're like, oh, it's ambivert. Like, there's always someone created a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I think and extrovert, the definition is that you need others and external influence to raise your energy levels, don't you? And I get that sometimes because if you are in a group, there's times where we've been going out. There's 4 or 5 lads going out, and I've had like a okay day, and I'm just thinking, oh, I could really do without this. But then when you get there with them, the energy comes back. Yes,
Yeah.
probably alcohol involved as well, but the energy comes back, and you're like up for it. Then you get a second wind, and likewise, you have a really great day full of energy, and you think, oh my god, and then you get back home and have your dinner, and you go, right, okay, I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to see anybody.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. So it's sort of being like trusting the process. That's like the interaction in that planning might not have matched your energy. It might not have felt that exciting. Once you get there and you like your favorite song comes on and you all start dancing, or you all start the banter and things like that, then you're like, yeah, this is it. We're gonna put the world to rights. This feels good.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and then suddenly it just feels too much. And yeah, yeah,
Up
it's
and
quite
down.
nice,
Yeah,
human.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the I did a online mastermind recently, and the title was all about AI. We're talking about humans here, aren't we? We're talking
Yeah,
about connection, and
yeah.
you've got to drop AI into your podcast,
Oh,
surely. So
yeah, yeah, of
I
course.
was I was
Yeah.
gone.
No, because so I made a solo podcast episode, about AI art. And it wasn't actually me. I just read out a script that that my ChatGPT person Alex wrote. And then I even read out the bit at the bottom saying like, "Let me know if you want any edits." but yeah, carry on. Sorry,
No, that's fine. I was going to say that on this mastermind that I did, the title was AI empowering or eroding.
ooh,
So the debate was, is it empowering us to get better, to be better, to think better, or is it eroding our capabilities and our brains because it's just easier? Like when Google came along, it's like, right, okay, I don't know the answer to that. You're not meant to cheat in pub quizzes, but what was number one in 1986 in January? It's like Google. So I'm I love AI. It's super powerful. I can see the dangers in it as well, and I can see where it will erode our brains potentially because information is so easy to come by now, and it's getting really clever. It's getting really good. Robots and AI robots, AI in cars. So it's not going away, but this is again another reason why I want to do this mission now of the connection architect because we're built for connection. And there's another saying. We love these cliche sayings, don't we? But there's another saying, and it's in this world we are ever more connected than we ever have been, and yet we're so much more disconnected as humans.
yeah,
It's true, isn't it?
yeah, it's so true.
It's so easy to not speak to another person, but you can be on your AI and chat to your chat GPT or whatever and on your digital media. But that human connection is fundamental to our being. And actually, it's meant to provide an elongated life, a prolonged life as well. If you're in a loving, caring relationship as well as a loving, caring friendship group as well, it's meant to be good for prolonging your life. So
Yeah,
human
yeah.
connection,
And
love it.
it's yeah, it's so good for mental health, isn't it? And like, so when I worked in sort of direct mental health services, we would, you seen people who are really, really struggling, and sometimes I would do specifically art therapy. Other times it would be more sort of talking therapies, and we would usually use this triangle. It's like ACE triangle, and you've got, this is where I end up saying like different words. Achievement, enjoyment, achievement, and connection. So A achievement, like C connection, E enjoyment. So
Nice.
having things that bring you some sort of connection is key with that. And like that could be connection with yourself, connection to other people, connection with your hobbies and your interests, and
Yeah.
connection
Yeah.
to sort of the world, nature, and
Mm.
things like that.
It's purpose, isn't it? It's having a purpose and you feeling like you've got a purpose. And typically that purpose has to be with other human beings.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because when you think about purpose, when like with that in mind, because part of that achievement and enjoy, there'd have some people that would be so overwhelmed by this. Oh, I'm not doing anything. Nothing's enjoyable. I don't feel I'm getting any sort of sense of achievement. And then they'd do something, and you kind of actually did brushing your teeth feel good? You've actually done something that was hard before.
Yeah.
So then it feels like a big, massive step to get to purpose.
Yeah.
So when you think about purpose and sort of passion and purpose, and you getting so lit up by sort of right in this online world, and like it's about connecting people.
Mm.
If someone can't find their purpose, what would you suggest, or where would they start?
It's a real difficult thing to find for other people, isn't it? They've got to find it themselves. They've got to find something within. And the challenge is that if someone's in depression or they're not feeling like loved or whatever, then they don't feel like they've got any purpose. It's just unpicking. And we talked about Dean Graziosi earlier, didn't we? But
Yeah,
he says go 7 layers deep, 7 levels deep with your questioning. So, right, okay, so why aren't you feeling like you've got any purpose or passion at the moment? Well, job's not going very, okay. So why is your job not going very well? And then question it and go deeper each time. But I think what I would do is try and find out what they were good at previously, what they enjoyed doing previously, and try and resurrect that, or something that they have an interest in now. It could just be AI. It could just be that they're learning ChatGPT or a lot of the other apps that are available now. So that's an amazing thing to learn. Do
Yeah.
something with that and become this AI architect where you can help other people learn AI. So it's just delving deeper. And if you can ask questions, you will get to find out what their purpose should be. Now, and again, I've pivoted 3 or 4 times in business and in life. You don't have to stick with something just because you found something today. Like I said, I've been in property 25 years. I don't love it as much. So it's taken a bit of a backseat. I haven't got the same excitement when I talk about properties now as I have with the connection side of things and communication skills. But answering your question, I think it's just about asking the person the questions to say, what is it that you used to love? What used to fire you up and what used to really, make you want to get out of bed in the morning? Let's try and unpick that and dig deeper into those things. And then
Mm.
if you can't find anything from previous, what are you interested in now? You might love your job. You might love going to your job. Okay, so how can you make it even better? Is there something there? Would you like a promotion? Would you like to move to a different company for a different challenge? And I think it's all about questions, isn't it? To try and help that person find it in themselves. What would motivate them?
It's unpicking it, isn't it? And yeah, getting to the point of, because sometimes like I know that this comes up for me and like for myself and for other people a lot of having that sense of I'd like to do this, but either not feeling that it's possible or not feeling it's possible for them, for me, or then feeling it doesn't quite align with the value or doesn't quite match. It's maybe like just a bit of disconnect.
Yeah.
So with that, that makes me think about connection being even more important because it's maybe about the connections along the way towards the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've just mentioned a great word there as well, your values. If you can find out what someone's values are, you'll find that purpose in those values, won't you? And connection with other people. Who are the people that you love to hang around with? Some people might not like hanging around with people, and that's absolutely fine. They might just be a home person and like their own company. And that's funny, I should say that actually, because going back to the ambivert thing, I've been single a very long time. I've had relationships or whatever, but people say to me, "Don't you get lonely?" And I'm like, "Oh, I love it. I'm more than happy in my own company," and that's a testament to me and my self confidence and feeling like I'm okay. I don't feel like I need validation by being in a relationship just for the sake of it. So I think my values have to match with somebody else's values, and if they don't, you just say, okay, that's fine. Don't want to hang out with you. And I've got friends that I used to hang out with. Values don't match anymore. So we might message every now and then on Facebook or in WhatsApp, but your values change over time. So that's absolutely fine too. But yeah, I love that word, values.
Yeah, that's it's so important and like you making that link with the extrovert thing, amnivert. I was thinking that as well, and I'm gonna mention it. So it feels so relevant. All these things interweave, don't they? And yeah. So how does this fit? So just thinking about like your how you support people sort of online and like in their businesses and how that sort of works. How how do you support people? Because I've seen like I've seen what you kind of like your content online and a lot of that feels like it's kind of oh, actually like I totally get your like your theories and everything like that and so, like the way that we're thinking. But if somebody was thinking, oh, actually, I'd like some support in business, what might Martin be able to do?
So I can do bespoke kind of coaching and help, or you're actually a member of my Business Impact Online app
Yes.
as well. So I've had that going in the background. I've got lots of free users in there, but I just haven't utilized it as best I could. So the plan is to relaunch it in, where are we? October, November. I will do a relaunch in there, and then there's going to be paid tiers in there. So I'm going to do like the, excuse me, Netflix £9 or $9 a month or whatever. And then what I plan to do is build a community of connection architects so that we all follow the principles, the same principles, values, mission, identity, and that's a group and a community. Now, I'm not bothered about, if I do eventually get 10,000 users in there, that's absolutely fine. But I'd like to build people with the same values and mission and identity rather than it just being about selling. I want to know these people intimately and personally rather than it just being, oh, who's that? Oh, somebody's just paying me money. I have no idea who they are. And then, like I was saying about the bespoke training, I can do. So I've got a friend who's got a coffee business, for example. He turns over about 1.5 to 2 million a year. So he's a very successful coffee business. He supplies coffee machines and then consumables to small businesses. So 20, 30 people businesses, coffee machines, 5 to 6K, and then the consumables, however much they cost. I said to him, I reckon I can increase your turnover by 10, maybe 15% in the next 12 months. How much would you pay me to increase the turnover an extra, 200 grand, 250 grand in the next 12 months? And he's like, I've no idea. What are you thinking? How are you going to do that? And I said, well, you've got to pay me, obviously, and we've got to work together for 12 months. But I've got so many different ideas across all of the ecosystem of your business. So all of your staff, all of the processes, all of the people, the systems that you have in place, making that more efficient, and the way that you all connect and communicate with the outside world. All of those touch points, you hear about it in business, all of the touch points that clients or prospects have. So that's the bespoke. And I said to him, to finish off that piece, I said to him, if you give me 10K for the next 12 months, I'll help you increase your turnover. And he was like, I'm not giving you that. I said, £1,000 a month then, or 10K if you pay it all up front now. And he's like, because we're close friends and that. He's like, I'm not going to give you 10K. Why would I do that? Why don't you just like help me and tell me? And I'm like, hang on a minute. You're going to increase your turnover like 200K, but you're not willing to spend 10K to increase the turnover. So that's the highest tier of like coaching and connection architect work that I do. And then there's going to be the whole purpose of relaunching the app in November is I want 10 founding members to join this program for a quarter. And I'm not going to give too much away because obviously it's going to be, I'm going to build the buzz and I'm going to build the marketing effort. But this is going to be 10 people that are going to be those initial connection architects. And then what I want is an army of connection architects all spreading that word. So potentially it could go viral, it could go exponential if I can build this connection and community right from the start correctly. Then that's how I want to help people. And I want these frameworks to be universal across all of the world. It doesn't matter what your creed, your color, your religion, your culture is or are. The frameworks should all work, and you can tailor them for whichever country you're in. So that's the plan. That's how I would love to help people.
Yeah. And I'm just, it just sounds so much fun, and sounds like just imagining, seeing people as people first rather than sort of thinking about their business first. And like that really comes across and just feels so important. So
Yeah,
even more
it's got to be.
important
It should
in this
be.
day and age.
Yeah, it should be. And the thing is it's evident. It's really evident. You were saying right at the start about people that kind of just sell to you and then they don't actually give what you bought. They overpromise and underdeliver. What I am trying to do is underpromise and overdeliver. Overpromise and overdeliver actually is good, because what I want to do is wow people so much that they go, oh my God, I need what he's got. And then they buy it and go, holy shit, I need to tell 10 other people this is what he's got. So that for me is overpromise and overdeliver rather than underpromise and overdeliver.
Yeah, because because I sort of wonder that, like, if you're under promising, but you know that you've got certain things, then, like we said before about you doing a disservice for people that might really benefit from that because they don't know that, like, they don't know what you're going to be offering. So then they could be ideal that would have maybe moved the needle to get them in.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's certainly a lesson that I can learn because I think I do probably, like, I probably could overpromise more, like, not
Yeah.
overpromise, but it's like
Yeah.
it's matching it, isn't it?
Yeah. People have so much choice now. This is the difficulty. They have so many distractions and so much choice. How are we gonna stand out in this sea of sameness of people scrolling, people scrolling? You do it yourself, I do it myself. I'm scrolling and then all of a sudden I'll go, oh, hang on a minute, let's have a look at that. Wow. And I've found a few people that I really love now and I'm modeling what they have done and what they are doing because I resonate with them. And I've actually bought a few of their lower ticket items because I'm just like, I need to know what they're doing. I need to see how they're doing it because I can model that for my own purposes. And if I can do that to my own audience then and really resonate with them, then the world may be my oyster. Let's see.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good. So you're so busy. When do you actually take time to pause?
I, like I said at the start, I think I'm a workaholic, so I don't really pause and I can switch off. So, for example, here in Spain, I'm always pottering around, so it doesn't feel like work. I've been really busy chopping trees today. I've been climbing up trees. I've had a tree surgeon here as well. He's costing me a lot of money. But then he said, "Oh, I'll give you a quote for those other trees." And I just thought, actually, I'm going to have a go at those. So next time he comes, he'll be like, oh, when he's quoted me for them. So for me, that doesn't feel like work. That is my switching off because I'm not doing any of the consultancy while I'm here. Yes, I'll be doing some of my uh, connection architect marketing, but I'm not doing anything other than a few calls here and there. And the properties are kind of looking after themselves. I've got some emails to catch up on, but for me, exercise is how I switch off. And then also when I'm with my boys, that's how I switch off. Is that quality family time with my boys or my own family as well. So that's my switching off.
Yeah, that sounds good. And it sounds like the way that you've set things up in terms of your systems and your, like, the strategy, from what you're saying, it feels like you've got that efficiency there so that you're not completely like run ragged, that you're busy and you're working hard, but it's maybe there's more of a system. So actually to me that would allow for breaks and allow you to pause in between those times rather than like rushing and feeling overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah.
Sort of.
I'm just thinking here again. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a workaholic and I've got the same expectations on other people, unfortunately. So I project that sometimes with people and it's like, they're not going to do it your way. The way that they do it is still going to be adequate and suitable. So just back away. So I think the difficulty for me is I do have systems in place and I do have people in place as well, but I can get better, much better. I could be 10 times the size across all of those businesses if I learn to let go and give it to other people.
Okay, yes, that and that's probably a lesson to lots of people, like, for lots of different reasons, not just businesses. People being able to ask for help is really
Yeah.
hard sometimes, isn't it? And I think sometimes hearing someone that's still struggling with that, but then doing really well, and like maybe we want to hire some other people in your business to help out with things, or maybe we want to connect with people, but then like do they really match like your values and beliefs? You kind of wanting to have that consistency, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you've heard of the concept of 1,000 raving fans. I've talked
Yes.
about this a lot as well, in so much that we don't need, and I put it out on my social media last week, I think. I don't want millions of followers necessarily. And I see a lot of these influencers that have 5 million followers or whatever. And I just think of the whole ecosystem that has to go behind that. Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, an
Yeah.
insanely good series, an insanely good podcast, but he's got a team of like 7 or 8 or maybe even more people behind the scenes running that. And
Yeah.
so, do I want to get to that? I don't think so, because his whilst he's got a lot of freedom, let's backtrack a second. Do I want a huge business that I can't get myself out of, and I am the face of the business forevermore? No. I
Mm.
want something that's kind of a business that's a lifestyle business where I can step back and enjoy the fruits of the labor as well, and enjoy the downtime, or doing what I want. And so the thousand raving fans concept is, you don't need millions of people. You just need 1,000 that absolutely love what you do. Now, love what you do might not be give you money, but they still love you enough that they'll say to their friend, "Oh my God, you need to see this," or they'll forward your messages, your social media, and things like that. So that's all I'm aiming for, and I actively cull my social media now, because there's no point having they call them ghost followers. There's no point
Yeah.
having them. No point having them.
No. It just makes it's that vanity metrics, isn't it? That's not so important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000 raving fans. If I can get to 1,000 raving fans, I'm sure life would be much easier.
Yeah. So even just 10 raving fans makes a difference. Because there's that kind of. There's a post as well that says about, oh, only 10 people saw my post, but oh, if 30 people saw my post. But if 30 people came into my room right now, I'd be overwhelmed. I'd be like, they wouldn't have anywhere to sit. They were all listening to what I was saying. So when people are like wanting to go viral, then for me, if I get like multiple views, then but to be fair, I am buzzing. I'm like, oh, love it. Oh, I've got that. But then I'm not thinking, actually, this is a necessity. It's more of a nice thing.
Mm. Yeah, it just feels like you are reaching an audience. If the algorithm promotes you and you get more views than normal, then it feels like that's a recognition of self, and a recognition that you're doing the right thing. So yeah, mine go up and down all the time, the amount of views and interactions and things like that. But I'm just staying true to myself and trying to be as authentic as I can be, because the right kind of people will find me, and the right kind of people will stay. So those ghost followers that follow you for a couple of weeks and they're gone within a couple of weeks, absolutely fine, didn't resonate with you. And actually, it's about repelling the wrong people, isn't it, as well? Social
Mm,
media and clients, you've got to go through this kind of dance with these people of, I couldn't work with you, or
yeah,
I really want to work with you. And they feel exactly the same.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So if people have resonated with what we've been talking about and feel that they want to connect, where's the best place to see you? I know, like, we're on Instagram sort of together. Is that your sort of main place, or is it elsewhere?
It is at the moment. I used to use LinkedIn a lot more, but I only use that for the consultancy at the moment. So Martin Price on LinkedIn, it's Business Impact Online on Instagram, the app as well, the free app, as I've just mentioned, you're in it. And I do need to start getting better at promoting that, but that's called Business Impact Online Hacks as well. That's in the Google Store as well as the App Store, Apple App Store. So they're the best places to find me. I am on Facebook as well, but I'm not using it as much as I used to.
Yeah, that's great. And before we finish, and we'll put those links down in the description. And yeah, before we finish, do you have any sort of final words that you'd want to maybe like think about or share to people, or words of wisdom, or a quote maybe that kind of stands out that feels relevant?
Yes, well, a couple of things. Can I give you and your audience a freebie called the Connection Mastery Manifesto?
Oh, yes, please.
It was meant to be. Let me tell you how many pages it is. It's about 30 pages, so it's a bit long at the moment. I'm trying to condense it, but I am going to turn it into a novel. I'm going to turn it into a full book, but it's full of strategies, full of frameworks, it's full of things that will help you connect with other people, personal life, professional life, and all the rest of it. So it's just this thing that I've a brainchild that I thought people need to read this, people need to see this and understand how to connect better as human beings. So I'd love to give you that. There's no catch, no, I don't need people's emails, and yeah, there's no promotions in there. Just have it and feedback. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing. Then the second thing is Maya Angelou quote. She says, "People won't remember what you say; they'll remember how you make them feel."
Yeah. Oh, I love that quote. It's something I forget so much, and I really need reminding sometimes. But
And
yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? Whenever we have an interaction with somebody else, we should always leave them feeling better than when we met them in the first place. So when someone walks away, I want them to think, oh my God, he's such a cool dude, or he's a twat. I definitely don't
yeah,
want the latter, but I like to think that I'm full of beans, full of energy, and inspire people.
yeah. This is the thing, and it's actually like your energy is pretty infectious, really. Like like I remember, and I suppose that's why, like after just meeting you that one time, it didn't feel like we'd only ever met in person once, because actually, like yeah, that just that in-person events, and it's so important to get into those types of events, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliant to talk to you. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of a New Pace podcast. I look forward to speaking to you all soon.